another Kevin Entertainment video. It's Art here with the Deep Dive, Monday's Double 5 Deep Dive of Thunderball. And here we go, spoilers ahead for those that haven't seen this nearly 60-year-old movie. But spoilers ahead anyway, because I just don't want anybody to upset. Excuse me as I adjust my chair. We'll keep talking through it. This movie is the last movie that is directed by Terrence Young, the one that is architected, that is credited with architecting the look and the feel of James Bond. Even to this day, every Bond film has a Terrence Young-esque feel to it. That's because from a lot of the cast and crew, they said Terrence Young was actually James Bond. He lived the lifestyle of James Bond, the lavish lifestyle, the extravagance, the playboyness, the energy of James Bond. Of course, he wasn't a secret agent. He was a film director, but you get what I'm saying there. Now, we can't talk about Thunderball without talking about the muddied waters of what is the Thunderball production process. Thunderball was originally licensed to Kevin McClory by Ian Fleming's company, or Ian Fleming himself. That part I can't remember, but that is why Kevin McClory is on the production rights. He gets production credit because he had the rights there, and this is the only one that he shows up on. Now, he does show up on the non-canon Bond film, Never Say Never Again. He shows up on that one as well. But this is the only one that he shows up on. Now, Thunderball is probably my second favorite, or actually third favorite Sean Connery Bond film. For me, it goes From Russia with Love, You Only Live Twice, Thunderball, Dr. No, and then Goldfinger's fifth. Now, everybody's going to say Goldfinger's fifth. Now, wait a minute. Goldfinger's fifth, because I watch it so much, I'm kind of burnt on it. I still love it to death. I love all of the Connery Bond films. Diamonds Are Forever excluded. What I'm talking about, the Connery Bond films, are the 5 Connery back to back, the Connery era. Now, yes, he did do Diamonds Are Forever, and Diamonds Are Forever is dead last in the Connery Bond 6. They are dead last. It is dead last. But Thunderball is great because it sticks closely to the book. I like Domino. I like another female villain who's strong and powerful, and in the 60s that was not that widely seen. I like how Emilio Largo, the villain of the piece, is not really a physical villain. He's more of a cerebral villain. I like the dry humor jokes that are in this one by far. Like when he shoots the guy with the harpoon and he says, "I think he got the point." That was great. I just like this film because beat for beat, it flows, it makes sense, and there's a lot of the backstory that I know. Like, for instance, in the shark scene, there was a pretty sizable shark hole of the glass between Connery and the sharks, and Connery was afraid of sharks for his entire life, but there was a human or a shark-sized hole because they couldn't get enough glass. They didn't tell him until one of the takes. The shark swam right through it and started coming after him. And also, there's a line filmed in this film, The Things I Do for England, that shows up in You Only Live Twice. But it was actually filmed for this film. And I like the humor of when the evil chick, whose name I can't remember at this point, it'll come to me in a second probably, she's in his bathtub, and she says, hand me some clothing, meaning like the towel or something so she can get out, and he hands her shoes. So it was that humor, that 60s humor, that more brash humor, you won't see too much anymore because we've all become too sensitive. And you won't see quality of films, and that's what makes Connery so great, because Connery's Bond is, he's got bravado, he's got machismo, he is, and this film, it's no different. It's just a continuation of his ability to command a screen. Sean Connery never lost his ability to command a screen. He had screen presence when he was on screen. And if Dr. No was him first in the role, being kind of brand new, From Russia with Love was him really getting the feel for the character, Goldfinger was his breakout role. In Thunderball, he truly commands the screen. He truly starts to step into his own and command the screen, and you can just tell it. It is an amazing film. You see Felix Leiter again. You get to see Carnival. Shirley Bassey was going to sing the title sequence, which was going to be named, the title song was going to be named Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, after the club, and that song does appear on the soundtrack. But then, as everybody knows, Tom Jones came in at the last minute, filmed the Thunderball, belted out the Thunderball theme song that we now know and love. This is also the one that has a man dressed up as a woman in the pre-credit title sequence, which is where I think Austin Powers got the joke of, it's not a woman, it's a man, baby. You know, that kind of thing. I think that's where that comes from. Because Austin Powers is a spoof on James Bond. It is also the one where we see the water jetpack in the pre-credit title sequence. The jetpack that shoots water jets and all that, or no, the car shoots the water jets. But the jetpack was actually a working prototype, and no, that wasn't Connery. That was the guy that built the prototype, flying the jetpack. They didn't do too much with it because obviously jetpacks aren't a thing, but they were trying to be a thing back in the 60s. The movie is just paced well. It's a full, complete Bond story. You do get to see Felix Leiter and Q. The Q scene comes much later. It feels more like a secret agent spy film because he's sent on the mission with very little known. He has to report back in a few times. His orders change on the fly. What he has to do changes on the fly, which is what a espionage film should feel like. And Thunderball, for me, is the full, complete package. It's more like it's the closest you get to a George Smiley, John le Carré book in film, in my opinion. There are jokes in it. It does have the Bond largesse in it. It does have the quintessential Bond things in it, but it is more serious and pulls back from the Guy Hamilton Goldfinger of the gadgets, the spinning plates, the humor. Like, the humor's still there, but it's more subtly driven, and Thunderball to me is just a more complete package. It's just a more tighter, complete package. I like the Disco Volante, that the boat that separates from the hull and becomes basically a speedboat. I like the underwater scenes are great, and the underwater photography is what this film, I believe, won an Oscar for. They actually got a call about Bond's breathing device that's no bigger than like this, from militaries around the world wanting to know how they built it and if it works. It never worked. It was just something to look cool and to be James Bond-ish. But it is, the underwater scenes are what they won an Academy Award for. And if for nothing else, just if you're a film nerd, you can look at Thunderball for the underwater expertise. There's several Bond films you can look at for their filming expertise. And for Thunderball, it's the underwater shots. Things like that had never been done in a film before, let alone a Bond film. It pioneered underwater shooting in the 60s. Because remember, this is the mid-60s. I think this is like 65 or 66 maybe. And it proves that things can be done. Because this is back in the day when Bond films came out every year. Boy, wouldn't I like that. But the underwater scenes are great. You can tell the good guys from the bad guys very easily. It's easy to follow action. It's top-notch action. It's top-notch greatness. You do get to see Spectre and a little bit of Ernst Abel Blofeld, at least the White Cat. And to me, the Spectre scenes in this are better than the ones From Russia with Love. It is just an amazing film all told. It is, what's the best way I can put this? To me, if you want to look at the template of what an espionage film should be and how good Bond films can be, this is your template. This is, Thunderball is the shining beacon of what an espionage film should be, and to me, it's From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, and You Only Live Twice are the reason why Sean Connery is the quintessential James Bond. He is James Bond. I don't care who comes after him. He is James Bond. Now, there are great actors that come after him. Timothy Dalton comes to mind. Roger Moore has some good films. Pierce Brosnan has a couple good films. Daniel Craig, his whole tenure, minus 13 minutes, was excellent. But without Sean Connery, rocket ship propelling the Bond film franchise into the stratosphere, we're still not talking about Bond to this day, and waiting with bated breath to see who the next Bond is going to be. So those are my thoughts on Thunderball. It is a relatively short film too, clocking in at 1 hour and 55 minutes, which I like, because the later Bond films get longer and longer, which, it's whatever. But that is it for my deep dive of Thunderball. I may do another case study of it and kind of break it down and show how it propelled spy films in general to be better in the future, and how it still affects espionage films to this day, because that's easily traceable. I may do that at some point, but Bond Days 006 is not going to be You Only Live Twice. I'm going to break it off and do a GoldenEye 007 video game review for Bond Days 006, because that just recently came out in January. So we're going to dive into that and see if it holds up from its original release. We're going to do that in Bond Days 006 in the very, very near future. But let me know in the comments down below your deep dive thoughts of Thunderball, and if you've seen it, or if this makes you want to see it. Let me know that in the comments down below. But as you well know, I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. Please ding the notification bell to be notified when I upload a video. And without further ado, happy watching. I'll see you again soon, and peace.